Okay, so let's talk about protein. What actually happens to the protein you eat? The main thing is it's used for your body tissues, your hormones, enzymes, antibodies. It's the building block of your body. It's important. And another funny thing here is when you don't eat enough carbs, your body literally loves carbs so much that it destroys your own tissue with protein and converts that into carbs in your liver. So it's like instead of eating yourself, eat the carbs, you know? And then if you overdo it, you just excrete all the extra protein. Protein is made up of these amino acid building blocks. And we have essential and non-essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are the ones your body can't make, so you have to eat them. And then non-essential ones are the ones your body can make. And each of these amino acids have specific functions. They turn into specific things. We're not gonna worry about that quite yet because it gets quite deep. And the main idea with these is that you're getting enough of them. So how much protein do we want to eat per day? We want to eat 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram per day. 1.6 is fine, but if you're an athlete, you're in the gym a lot, or you want to lose weight and keep as much muscle on as possible, you're going to want to up it to around 2.2 grams per kg. And when most people eat protein, they have a bad protein distribution. So usually they have very little for breakfast, a little more for lunch, and then all their protein for dinner. You want to start getting a consistent amount of protein for every meal. And another thing to keep in mind when we're talking about protein is its bioavailability. So here's a list of a bunch of proteins, and the only plant protein here that is regularly absorbed is soy protein. But we know all the problems with soy that we talked about earlier. So as a general rule, we're going to be doing animal protein over plant proteins. But when people think of animal proteins, they usually just think of beef. Let me eat 2 pounds of beef a day. You're going to throw off your amino acid balance like that. An excess of certain amino acids can be inflammatory, those like tryptophan, cysteine, and methionine. So we want to balance those out. And the ones we balance those out with are the ones we're usually deficient in. So like glycine especially, alanine, proline, these are anti-inflammatory. And the proteins that we said we usually get in excess, those are the ones in muscle meat. And the ones we're usually deficient in, those are the ones in collagen. So if you think about it, 50% of the animal is collagen, but we only eat their muscle meat. So if you want to improve your gut health, your skin health, this is going to be a big game changer. You want to have 30% of your protein intake come from collagen or gelatin. This is things like bone broth, bone-in meat, brisket, oxtail shank, or some collagenous cut of meat like that, chicken, fish, pork skin, or gelatin. And then last but not least, gluten is a protein. But the gluten we have now isn't the one we had back then. We have these hybridized grains with a lot of pesticides. They have mycotoxins. They're actually now fortified too, so there's excess iron in there. Whereas the ones we had then were non-GMO, pesticide-free. They didn't have to travel long distances. So if you have any sort of health issue that you want to be fixing, you should probably just cut out gluten entirely. But if you love bread, these are the flours you want to use: spelt, einkorn, or sourdough. These are the more traditional ones, lower in gluten naturally. So give these a go and see how you react.